Please hang up and try again.
Once again, here's your host, Sean McGuire.
Out here to film the snow. We're getting kind of those beautiful big flakes. And then I noticed that the frickin' garbage got blasted. Unbelievable, look at this. I mean, how does the garbage go that far? I mean, look at that. That's some serious distance. But they completely, yeah. Issue 2 is actually something that surprised me as things have played out over the last decade. So what is issue number 2? Moore's Law. It's essentially, I'm going to put a chart up here for you to see what it is, but it talks about how fast technology grows. It almost doubles in the capacity, or how fast, for example, your computer can go every 2 years, and it's been doing that for nearly 40 years, maybe even more. I think it's since 1973 if you look at the chart. So one of the interesting things is, well, how does that all apply to healthcare? And one of the areas where the United States kind of lagged behind other industrialized nations was in this area until basically the last decade, where they're starting to catch up. But there's been a lot of hiccups along the way. The stimulus bill really incentivized hospitals to explore adding electronic medical records. And then a program called Meaningful Use came along. So as a result, many hospitals over the last 10 years had to invest a huge amounts of capital into implementing these new EMR systems. And some of the things have been good, some of the things have been bad. One of the things that has been good is that you as a patient can now have access to your bills, not your bills, but you can have access to your medical records, your lab results, and stuff like that. So that's a positive thing. Other things that are positive in technology are how good computers are getting. Look how awesome our phones are right now. I'm actually using my phone to record this video. And these phones have the capacity. Well, think about what these other computers might have. A concept is called machine learning, which is where basically a computer can go through massive amounts of data, something that would take humans years and years to accomplish, and they can do it at a much faster rate. And this is interesting because it's introducing all kinds of new diagnoses, new theories, new treatments, and other things. So that's been an exciting thing of technology in healthcare. And another exciting thing is where things could go if technology continues to grow. I watched a documentary on this thing called quantum computing, way over my head, but I totally see why many nations across this great world are looking to dominate the quantum computing. It's essentially creating a supercomputer. Don't really know how to explain it in enough time, but this could have transformational effects on the healthcare industry. Now, to some of the things that are somewhat bad with technology, I mentioned earlier how these hospitals and hospital systems and healthcare providers, for that matter, had to invest in all of these new EMR systems. Well, this had a huge impact on the efficiency of a lot of organizations, and it also formed a lot of consolidation in the healthcare industry. We're going to talk about that in coming up later in this program. But this consolidation has had a price, particularly for smaller institutions and independent medical providers who, as a result of these new IT requirements, have switched to more of a becoming employees of the hospital. And these hospitals keep merging to get bigger and bigger. So many of these hospitals in a smaller town, for example, are part of a larger system that might be up to 13 to 15 different hospitals. And so then that means the decision-making changes. certain operational things change, and it's caused a lot of strain. Finally, I'm going to conclude with the impact that these EMR records have actually had on the people that are the most important player in this whole equation, the healthcare provider, and they've had a huge impact, particularly in lost opportunity costs. And what I mean by that is I gave a talk recently at a hospital in Michigan, and one of the senior physicians who is a managing partner of a physician group mentioned to me how he compared his productivity numbers with the EMR systems compared to what he was producing before they had all of these EMR mandates. And the fastest that he could get with the computer was at 80%. And so that means for you as a patient is less time for your doctor to actually focus on learning more and on finding the right diagnosis.